I wish we could give you an idea how remote a place Kabaya village up on the mountain was.
Was the people to go there down and the picture all over there. Was the people to go there down and the picture all over there.
We walked down the mountain for about 3 miles to reach the main road where we could catch a minibus transporting us on into Riangeti town in order to do email. Both Jenny and I had very painful feet, but the sacrifice seemed very small to get to town to see if there was some chance of getting enough Kinyarwanda Bibles for those making decisions to follow Christ. We had 139 and then up to 150 who wanted to be baptized. Some of those we knew they would be considered too young, even though they were above the age of 10. You should have heard the loud groans as it was shown to them how the end of the world would be. Plagues are bad, but at the end of the 1,000 years, when those following Satan attack the holy city, fire comes out of the sky. There were shrieks and loud groans as the people realized the truth. They realized that there is only 2 paths, one that prepares you for heaven and one that prepares you to be as nothing. Shortly after, we asked them to make a decision for which side to be on. All could see the best decision was to follow Jesus. They hurried to the gate of the sanctuary to get their name on the list for baptism and to have prayer for salvation. I was so moved. I knew that no matter how painful it was to walk, I was going to get there to arrange for a Bible for them. Jenny had the same determination. Her ankle was already twisted and in pain, but we tried to take precautionary measures, putting support on the ankle and heading down anyway. The sacrifice was nothing compared to the sacrifice Jesus did for us when he died for us on the cross. Even the rain getting us all wet was not enough to keep us home. We took an umbrella, but the rain came under the umbrella from the side. Heavy rains did not discourage the people from coming to meeting. They sat at least 3 hours in the cold and the wind and the rain. They have only lightweight cotton cloth draped about them, and they shiver. Their eyes are fixed on the screen and on the speakers, and they act though it's a life and death matter. They have to hear it and make their choice, no matter what rain is hitting them. God is calling these people to keep his commandments. The border crossing that we faced going into Goma was a concern to our hearts because we didn't have the money for crossing the border. It was going to cost $103 plus a fine for immunization papers because we had left the immunization papers at home. We were in such a remote, primitive area, but the Bible hunger made all the sacrifices worth it. Someone had suggested that for my burn on my foot, I go to the store and get something to put on it. The remote area we are in it would take a long walk on that burnt foot, a long, long walk, and then reach the town where there was a pharmacy. A total of 7 miles of walking, and then a ride in a very crowded minibus where people sit on each other. But the sacrifice of being in a remote area was well repaid, as we saw these people thrilled to hear God's invitation to his table. To be invited to eat with the King of the universe is a privilege, a grand privilege. I asked how many of them had ever eaten with the president of a country. Nobody put their hand up, and they started laughing. No president of a country would invite them to their table. But it's not a laughing matter. The King of the universe loves us so much and treasures us so much. He has invited us to his table, and he says, don't come without inviting somebody else. So we love him so much, and we pray that we will have the same love he has, that he gave his life to bring people to his table. There were squeals of joy as the people watched the truth about the resurrection and the second coming. They have a history there of slave trade. People were beaten and jerked from their homes and taken to other countries to be slaves. And they have a history of civil war. So many have died. They tell me their sad stories. Wow, they were excited when they saw the truth about the resurrection. That death is not final. Death is only a sleep. And then Jesus will call with his sweet voice, and he will restore those who have turned to dust. He will remember what they looked like and how they thought, and he will restore them. It will be such a marvelous thing. The people were so excited with the news. It was like our experience in the remote Kalima village of Congo in 2006. It brought back a flood of memories to see the same excitement over the gospel. We lose that. People say, oh yeah, that's right. And we've heard that story before. But these people treasured it. What a thrill to give them the good news. They were sitting in darkness and they were rejoicing in the light. And God will bless them, for they received us gladly. They are giving so many good things to the pastor, and they gave us, God's missionaries, many good things from their gardens to eat. We had 3 different varieties of avocados. We sure like avocados. Unfortunately, the rats did too. That was the favorite thing. They came into our room to eat. While we were giving the morning messages, just 10 minutes after the lady gave us the avocados, the rats were watching. They scurried into our room and began gulping down our avocados. I caught them when I ran to the room for some equipment piece. They saw me coming and they ran out the door, terrified for their lives. I refused to share my avocados with the rats. The rain collected on the sanctuary. We prayed for it. The tent was a brand new tarp that I had bought, and it was fairly clean. And when it got washed with strong pelting rain, we went to collect water off of it for washing our dishes. My plan was to boil it for drinking water, but there were so many items like flies and items the other people had dipped into it and then set their container in the mud and contaminated it. Also, birds came to take a bath in it. But it was cleaner. It was a great blessing. We could use it for washing dishes and vegetables. Then just drink our purified bottled water instead of using it also in our cooking. We thank all the people who have been praying for the ministry. And we're so thankful that as we left Kabaya, the people gathered. They wanted another Bible story, and they cried. They didn't want us to leave. They had enjoyed the Bible truths they had gained from us, and they hung on to us. They all wanted a picture with us. God will bless that dear group of people, and we pray that there will be missionaries sent from that village to share with others. It would be wonderful to go back and visit them when we go back in September. We are praying that we can do that.